At the beginning of our film today, we learn that there is a virus spreading on the planet, infecting everyone except for one girl. This virus makes people seem as if they are drugged and in a state of lethargy. And we find written on the screen that it is 439 days before the end of the world. The space scientist Bob picks up a strange signal that suddenly disappears and then reappears. Strangely, every 8 seconds the signal reappears, and it has been like this for 3 hours now. In the morning, other space scientists arrive and can't believe the news. The man calculates the coordinates and finds that the signal has traveled 800 light years. The signal itself has also split into 4 parts on different frequencies. When they see this, they understand that it will take them a very long time to decode it. And none of them realize how much energy it takes to send a signal like this, and that the probe can't be smaller than the size of Africa, and Bob is occupied with something else, which is that whoever sent this signal is definitely not just saying hello, and why would they even encode a message? And at that moment, Bob realizes that this isn't a code at all, and with 71 days left until the end of the world, the writer Carol presents her new book to the readers and signs the book for each one of them who buys the first edition, even though Carol is sitting there smiling at everyone. Sebela. But the truth is, she's had enough of all this and wants to get into her car as quickly as possible. And when there are 29 days left until the end of the world, Dr. Jane arrives at work and we understand that she's working on a very special project with Eddie. During the experiment, they examine one of the rats that appears to be dead, but when they hold it, they find its heart is beating normally. Suddenly, the rat bites Jane and runs away, so Eddie tells her to go wash her hands quickly while they catch it. And exactly 1 minute later, Eddie notices that Jane has started to tremble, so he immediately takes her to the decontamination area. After a while, Jane comes wearing the protective suit and approaches one of the guards transmitting the virus. Thus, all the workers get infected with the virus. They go to the lab and take a saliva sample from each of them to analyze. Jane also does the same thing but in a different way. And we see her spreading her saliva on the donuts. In the next scene, the day of the apocalypse arrives. We see Carol with her friend Helena leaving the bar. Carol notices that there are many planes flying above them, emitting white smoke. And Helena thinks there's no need to worry and goes back to responding to comments. After a minute, they find a man driving a car who suddenly gets sick and stops his car. The same thing happens to Helena too. Carol tries to call an ambulance but finds her phone is broken from the incident, so she runs to the bar to ask for help but finds that everyone inside has been affected by the same virus. While she's looking around, she finds the bartender unconscious. When she calls emergency services, no one answers, so she steals one of the cars there, puts her friend Helena in it and drives away. But as she is walking, she finds the whole town on fire, but she has no other choice but to go to the hospital, and she finds everyone inside, including the doctors and nurses, has experienced the same thing. So Carol takes a wheeled bed and goes back to Helena to take her. At that moment, Helena's face turns red, she smiles, and then she dies. And suddenly, the man in the car wakes up. Then, the people around her leave the hospital. And when Carol grabs one of them, everyone turns around. And when the man tries to transmit the virus to her, unlike the others, Carol is not affected and the others want to take Helena with them. But Carol tells them to leave her, and in unison, everyone says they want to help her. And when Carol hears the strange sound from everyone around her, she takes the car and leaves. And as she drives, she encounters other infected people. What's even more terrifying is that she finds them somewhere between being sedated and being fully aware and thinking clearly. For example, you find a group of them holding a fire extinguisher and putting out the fire. Then Carol reaches the house but finds the keys have fallen and can't open the door. So she takes a brick and breaks the door immediately. At the time, she finds the neighbors coming to see what's going on after they heard the banging sound. They tell her again that they want to help her, so they tell her where the house key is hidden and exactly under which brick. And when Carol looks, she actually finds the key and doesn't understand how they know these things, so she gets nervous and tells them to leave her alone. And then the neighbors actually leave her and walk away. At that moment, the garages in the other houses open and people come out, all getting ready to leave. So Carol enters her house, blocks the door with furniture and closes all the windows. Then she sees all the neighbors around her leaving. And on top of that, some of them never wake up at all, but the rest are taken and moved in one car. After that, Carol turns on the television and finds only one channel working. A ticker on the screen tells Carol to call a specific number when she's ready, and they don't pressure her, but they understand that she has many questions and needs to understand what's really happening. Carol calls the number and the minister answers. He realizes that Carol is very scared and doesn't understand what's happening. He tells her that he is sorry about Helena, but Carol is not in any danger at all. And he also tells her that her life is hers alone and that her mental health is very important, but it's necessary for her to stay at home in the coming days until everything is sorted out. And it's better that she doesn't see all of that. He tells her that if she needs anything, they will help her and encourages her to ask any question that comes to her mind. So Carol asks him about what's happening and if this is an alien invasion or what exactly. The minister answers no. Then she asks how they know who she is and why the neighbors know where her house key is, and she asks if they can read minds or not. He answers no again and tells her they wouldn't be able to do that even if they wanted to. Carol wants to understand why they are speaking in the plural form. The minister tells her that there are no extraterrestrial beings on the planet, but they appeared because of alien technology. He explains that space scientists received a signal 14 months ago, and until now, they don't know how long it has been sent. It could be from the beginning of human history. This signal consists of 4 frequencies: guanine, uracil, adenine, cytosine, and when the scientists worked on this pattern in the lab, that's when the virus started to appear. Although it's not a strong virus, it's like the glue in the subconscious that unites everyone. At that time, everyone was united except for Carol and 11 others. The minister promises her that they will find out how they are different from the others and will correct the situation. When Carol asks him why he will do that, he replies, "So you can be with us." And the next morning, Carol buries Helena and goes to a new place, but they still reach her because of the military drone flying 12 kilometers away and monitoring her. Then I go to her and offer her a bottle of water, telling her not to worry, it doesn't contain the virus, and that the virus would need at least 2 months to take control of her. Every doctor on the planet thinks Carol is on the verge of getting a heat stroke, but she still refuses to drink the water, and as she walks away, Carol follows her and tells her to wait. When she returns, she comes with her book and tells her that there is someone on the cover who looks exactly like her. So Anna tells her, "We sent someone who resembles the hero of your story in the hope that you could trust him." Then the strange thing is that he and Helena have the same personality and way of thinking, but the hero of Carol's book was a man. So Carol asks her, if they can't read minds, how do they know all this? She admits to her that Helena was able to communicate with them before she died, and now all her thoughts and knowledge of them are inside them. Carol gets angry and pushes the girl, and the girl gets sick and loses consciousness. Carol takes this opportunity to escape. Then she finds other people between sleeping and awake. And Carol, to help one of them before he dies, tries to bring him down. And at that moment, everything stops hanging and they offer to help her as well. When she realizes this, then they tell her, "We're fine, don't worry." After that, Carol goes back home and calls the number again, giving them permission to bring the girl back. It turns out that Carol's emotions affect them, and they face a lot of difficulty in handling negative emotions. Carol is afraid that the rest of the people might die because of her. And to ease Carol, they send her a car to help her, which speeds up the process of digging the grave. At night, Carol asks about what happened with the scientists. It turns out they were also infected with the virus and are returning to Earth. The people who were in the nuclear submarines and military bases were the first to be caught. And Carol wants to connect with the rest of the people like her, and since Carol wants that, they decide to take her to them, but they warn her that they won't be able to protect them from each other. And everyone who wanted to meet people like them also comes to the same airport, and their infected relatives stand nearby. The last one of them, who is Diao, arrives and asks to board the president's plane. He also uses his authority as much as he can. And when she tells him she hopes his journey is comfortable, he doesn't deny it. He also tells her that he has a nuclear suit that could blow up the whole world. Even though it's a joke, he doesn't remember that the suitcase is active. And when Carol asks the rest of the injured to leave the room, she disables the eavesdropping systems and talks to people like her, wanting to understand what they will do now. Among them are scientists and specialists in genetics, but in the end, they are all just ordinary people who cannot restore peace to the world. And Dee does not understand why they are supposed to do that in the first place. They act as if they are living in paradise. On the other hand, she replies and says that because Carol was joking, her driver and grandfather had an accident and died. Since then, Carol has had a scar. She tells her that she is very sorry, but they need to understand that all their relatives are no longer the same people they knew. But Diao sees that the situation is not that bad, or at least crimes have decreased, no one is getting robbed and no one is getting killed, no one is suffering and there is no racism. The planet now has one world. And Carol cannot deny that. She hints at what will happen next, especially after they find a way to control them, and the truth is, some of them actually want that to happen. After they finish talking, Dio exits the plane and tells the people outside to prepare the food, and they discover that they faced a problem while preparing the food and that they were looking for the right ingredients. For what they all live and don't like to kill anyone, not even fish, and they don't hunt, and this food is the freshest thing they found in the stores, and people start thinking about what they will do, for example, with the insects that want to sting them. I tell them that they intend not to let anyone suffer under their hands, and when Carol asks her how many people have died because of him so far, tell her that they have been spreading slowly for a month, but then the soldiers found them and started acting faster. In the end, about 886 people died and 11 million others died because of Carol's anger. Carol gets angry again when she hears this news. And at this time, they start experiencing a completely different malfunction, and up to here, we have reached the end of our first episode of the series. If you like the story and want us to continue the series, write to me in the comments and see you later.